Hello everybody, this is Mr. Cloud, and in this video I'm going to walk you through how to create the chart in your notebook or your civics binder called Historical Documents Chart 2B. First step, open up your civics binder, go to the second section that contains the loose leaf paper, and you need to get out a piece of paper, and we're going to use up a whole piece of paper for this. First thing you're going to do is align your paper correctly. So your paper probably starts out looking like this. Here's the holes on the side, and we got it up and down. That's the way paper normally is. For this, we're going to flip it over on its side and work this way. Notice the holes are at the top of the page. So once you get that flipped over, we need to set up the chart itself. Now, the chart's going to look like this, and here's how you do it. You would use up the whole page, remember. Up and down are called columns. You probably know that. Up and down, that's a column. This is a column. This is a column. There's 4 columns here. And notice the size. Like the first 2 columns are not as big as the second 2 columns. Now, those are columns, and there's 4 of them. And there's also rows, and rows go left to right, or right to left. They go across. And let's see how many rows there need to be. There's 1, kind of a small one, and then 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all about the same size. And let's see, what are we going to label this? At the top, this is our title row. This is name of the document, who wrote the document, why was it written, and the long-term impact of that document. And look, I've given you one for free, and I've given you the names of the documents. And notice how I've divided up the names of the documents. I want you to do it this way. Notice how I've got the 3 documents that deal with Virginia, Virginia, Virginia. And I've even color-coded it. If you have like different color pens or highlighters or whatever, you may want to do that. You may want to write it on the side. These are the Virginia documents, and notice these are like the national USA documents. So this is the Declaration of Independence, applies to everybody. Articles of Confederacy, boo, that applies to everyone too. And the U.S. Constitution, which of course applies to everybody in America. So here's how to do this. You're going to research using your notes, using your core content, your textbook, the materials that we gather in class, whatever you need to do, and you're going to fill this chart out on your own. We'll review it, make sure you've got the things you need. This is a very helpful study guide. We'll do this for several things in class. First thing, I've given you one for free. Let's talk about that one. Charters of the Virginia Company of London. King James, well, first of all, who wrote it? And even though it was technically written by people who worked for him, let's just go ahead and say King James of England wrote this document. And some of these, by the way, are going to be tricky because they were written by several people or a committee, a group of people, just, whatever the best information you have about who wrote each document. Why was the Charters of the Virginia Company of London written? And that was, of course, to set up an English colony in Virginia. And what was the long-term impact of that document? And I've got 2 here. It gave all the rights of Englishmen to the colonists and their children, in other words, their descendants. And also, the Founding Fathers thought that the king was not respecting those protected rights, and therefore they declared their independence because they said the king was going back on the sacred pledge of a previous king. All right, so there you go. Let's go ahead and get started on it. And if you're watching this in class, we're going to do it now. If you're watching this later, go ahead and complete this, and we'll review it at a later date. I'm looking forward to seeing the great work that you all do. Thanks.